Sure, I'll do the intro, Ross. Hello, and welcome back to Dylan and Ross Save Sports. Another day, another dollar, as they say.
Okay. You're right though. What if it was another day, another dime, or another day, another penny? Like, will we still be
Well, Ross,
interested?
we live in America, so it is another day, another penny.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Hello, I am your host, as always, Dylan Sanders. You can find me on Twitter at Dilly Sanders. Joining me today is the other co-host, as always, Ross Jackson. You can find on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. How you doing today, Ross?
I'm good.
Uh-oh, we have someone joining.
Oh, snap.
Who is that? Hello.
Hey.
Good. Yes. It is our East Coast correspondent, Sarah Griffin. You can find her on Twitter at SKG_18. How are you doing today, Sarah?
I'm fantastic. How are you guys?
Very good. Much better now. Thank you for being here with us.
Of course. I'm always happy to be here.
This is awesome. We were so excited that you were coming back on the show today. We have several things to discuss with you, including baseball related things and not baseball related things. And I have to tell you how much I love your TikTok. I'm such a massive fan of your TikTok.
That's usually a pretty unpopular opinion, honestly.
No, I refuse. I love your TikTok, and I am upset that your sister did not dance with you.
I am too. I tried getting her to yesterday, and she also said no then too. I don't think I'm gonna get her.
Just the worst. Just the worst. I love that she's like trying to escape from you. You just grab her.
Well, I just want people to know that's not just me all the time, and then I have one person should get me out of here.
Big fan. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to join us, Sarah. We appreciate you being here.
Of course.
Yeah, man. So football's over now, and so there's only basketball, and then baseball is starting soon. How does it feel? How does it feel to have baseball back?
Thank God. That's like my one time of the year. I'm like, finally, it's my time to shine again.
There you go.
The last thing I did before everything shut down was go to an LSU baseball game. That was like my last event. Because we got in for free, so I went to go hang out, have fun. It was a great time, and I was like, man, we're gonna go to so many baseball games this season. And then, of course, we didn't.
Well, you set yourself up with failure to sit there and have that expectation,
Yeah, silly me wanting to enjoy a sport.
That was on you, honestly, for thinking that would go through.
Listen, blind optimism, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir. That's the life every day it was blind optimism.
All right. Well, speaking of baseball, let's get into a little bit of baseball talk. A lot has happened. I feel like, I don't know, me and Ross are not plugged into baseball as much as I'd say a lot of people are, but has this offseason been like a little crazy, like trades wise and stuff like that?
It's been slower, and I know that was kind of expected. Yeah, it's been kind of expected that would be slower just because, with COVID and everything, and after the shorter season, no one really wants to give away these like big, huge deals. Like last offseason, like you had the big Mookie Betts trade, offseason before you had like the Mike Trout, like gigantic contract extension. Now, I mean, I'm pretty tired of hearing about Trevor Bauer, but he's kind of been the one big story there's been besides the Nolan Arenado trade, which kind of came out of nowhere. And I thought that was kind of the story of the offseason so far. But even then, it's been kind of quiet, which is disappointing because I kind of lived for this time to see like some stuff going on. And not to say nothing's happened, but there's definitely been more exciting off seasons.
And it just feels like we're setting ourselves up for another season of Dodgers winning.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
At this point, I'm like, if they don't go back to back, or at least like show up again in the World Series, I will be shocked, and also they should be embarrassed.
They should be embarrassed if they don't get back.
That roster, like, come on.
I'm emotionally hurt this offseason because George Springer is no longer an Astro.
Oh yeah,
I'm very sad about it. I love me
good name.
I love me some George Springer. But take care of him, Toronto, I guess.
Are you happier that he ended up there than the Mets, at least?
Yes. I like Toronto. And I also now have a little bit of a connection to the Blue Jays because I used to live in Buffalo and they played in Buffalo last year.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, the Blue Jays are kind of exciting now. Honestly, they have a lot of those young guys that are going to be sick in like a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know where are the Blue Jays playing this year? Are they back in Buffalo or are they back in Toronto?
I think they're back in Buffalo, at least to start.
Yes. I don't know why I love that so much, but I do.
Listen, that stadium is surprisingly fun for a minor league stadium. I went to a lot of games there.
I think that's the thing that I love so much about it is that like it feels like it's a national brand, a national team, but it feels a little bit more maybe accessible because it's at this minor league stadium. And like Buffalo sports is so unique and Buffalo sports fans are so unique and like the connective tissue there is so strong that it just immediately makes them more likable to me that they're playing in Buffalo for some reason.
I just love the idea of the one Canadian team playing anyways, like their home still in the United States.
Yeah, and you also have the Toronto Raptors, of course, who are playing in Tampa Bay. So,
they're playing in Tampa Bay?
Are they playing in Tampa? Am I wrong about that? I thought they were playing in Tampa.
No, you might be right. I know nothing about that.
Yes, the Raptors are playing in Tampa.
Yeah. So they're playing in Tampa now. The Tampa Bay Raptors, if you will. And the Buffalo Blue Jays. So it has been a tough scene for Toronto sports at the moment.
So tough for Canada in general.
Right. Oh, man. Dylan, you've disappeared.
Yeah, no, I don't know why. I just did.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to figure it out, but it's just not,
There's time. We'll fix it over the break. Sarah, I have to ask you right now, we mentioned that the Los Angeles Dodgers, them not getting back to the World Series at this time would be a disappointment for them. Are they your favorites going into, not your favorites, but are they the favorites going into the 2021 MLB season, or is there another contender out there?
I would say so. As much as I want to believe that the Padres might have the edge over them coming, I'm like, there's just no way. Not with that offense, not with that pitching rotation. I really just don't see anyone beating the Dodgers.
Be still my heart, though, that you brought up Slam Diego, because I am a Dodgers fan, but I have a ton of appreciation for the San Diego Padres.
I love the Padres. I think they're so exciting, and I want them to be so much better than the Dodgers. I really do. I'm like, maybe a few years down the line, once people start to get more older and stuff. So that's the other thing. That Dodgers team, like, even their younger guys, like, they all have, like, so much playoff experience at this point.
Yeah, which is great for them right now, but, in a few years, they might age like a terrible wine.
I wouldn't hate seeing that, but I don't think it'll happen. But
like, there's a big difference between aging like fine wine and aging like a grape cocktail, or like a fruit cocktail, to where it's just sugar and crap. That is the potential of the Dodgers moving forward, but right now they're really, really good, which is understandable. As we look forward, do you have a team that you expect to be kind of like to make the biggest leap or the biggest improvement? Are those the Red Sox? Is that going to be the Red Sox this year?
I wish I could confidently say my prediction is that the Red Sox will make that leap. I think they'll be better than last year, but the bar for that's so low.
Yeah.
Because they had such a bad 2020. I'll probably say the Mets to make the biggest leap.
Okay.
I think they've had a lot of changes now this offseason, leadership wise, front office. They made like significant changes to their roster that they needed to do. And It feels like they might. I mean, granted, that's a very hard division, that NL East, especially the Braves in there. But I'm kind of leaning towards the Mets in that division.
I like that. Shout out to Brandon Olson, Erica Ayala, a couple of well-deserving Mets fans. They
Poor
deserve
Mets
like if Tampa gets a Super Bowl win. Well, not if they did. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers got a Super Bowl win. The New York Mets deserve at least 3 in a row. Or at least the fans do. Let me not say the Mets. The fans deserve it.
Yes, they do. They really do.
I just want to say, speaking of like shouting out people, if you have something to ask to Sarah or anybody, or just say something about baseball in general, you can type it in the chat and we can get it up on the stream and stuff like that. So feel free to interact and we can get to that. Sarah, one thing that we like to do on here is read lists that people make and then criticize them because they're stupid and we're not. So
sounds fun.
Yeah, it is fun. So you're gonna do it, and we're gonna get you to do it now a little bit, and maybe get you in trouble with some fan bases. How does that? So ESPN has put out a ranking, a way too early ranking of the 2021 MLB starting lineups. So we can read through the first couple and see what you think. See if anything pops out to you as wild.
Okay.
Or if there's a team that, if we get a couple in and there's a team you haven't heard yet, that you think needs to be talked about, we can go into that as well. All so right. Number 1, they have the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Of course.
Obviously. Duh.
Whoop, whoop. Excuse me. Sorry. Did y'all hear that? What a weird sound.
The number 2, they have the New York Mets.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? So far, I'm getting the feeling that this person's list is not stupid.
I like this person so far.
So far, so good.
It is Bradford Doolittle.
Shout out Bradford Doolittle for several reasons.
Son of Dr. Doolittle, I think.
That is factually correct.
Number 3 is the first one I was even confused about. Number 3 is the Houston Astros. Minus George Springer, the Houston Astros already still at 3.
Trying to lose me already.
Stupid Doolittle.
Okay, and I can be honest. Any lineup with Jason Castro starting as your center in 2021 should not be in the top 5.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jason Castro. Love you. Welcome back.
Say, dang.
Welcome back.
Really coming after Castro like that.
Put on black.
I mean, 6 years ago, Jason Castro was a middling center. So, number 4 is the Yankees. Are they still good? Are the Yankees still the Yankees?
I mean, the Yankees are still good. They're okay. They're definitely top 5 offensive, especially. Yeah.
All right, number 5. We have the.
Can we just appreciate how hard that was for Sarah to say?
I hate
that's not easy.
Where do you think the Red Sox are on this list?
Well, honestly, the Red Sox have a great offense. It's just I feel like people are going to remember, remember 2020 when they had 6 wins.
Right.
I mean, that's very true. Number 5 is the Blue Jays, the Buffalo Blue Jays. Shout out.
Buffalo Blue Jays, very nice.
Interesting.
And I just noticed they have, so their best trait is listed as offensive diversity, and the worst trait is listed as uncertain environment, which is fair.
That's
their worst trait.
Listen. If that environment becomes less, that becomes far more certain once guys start jumping through tables at the games.
Well, apparently, reading through this, they don't know where they're playing yet.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense. That is quite uncertain.
Positive they're going to Buffalo. They could be at home.
No, they could be going to Florida. TD Ballpark in Dunedin, Florida, is one of the options listed here, and that may I don't want to be in Florida.
Let me tell you, Dunedin, Florida, one of my favorite cities I've never heard of until this moment. One of my absolute favorites.
All right, number 6, we have the Los Angeles Angels.
No.
Yike.
Listen, I like Joe Adele in MLB The Show, but I don't know
Like,
how great he is here yet.
I don't know if they're trying to like speak that into existence on behalf of Mike Trout.
Sure.
Could you guess? Could you guess what they list as their best trait?
Mike Trout.
It's Mike Trout. Yes, Mike Trout is their best trait.
Their worst trait. Everything else.
Pretty much. Number 7. Well, Ross, you have some?
Just real quick update on, I think it's Dunedin, Florida. Quick update on Dunedin, Florida. Hancock Park, which is inside of Dunedin, Florida, is the home to owls, woodpeckers, and a butterfly garden.
Would you look at that?
Oh, yeah. And soon, Blue Jays.
Oh,
See what I did there?
Nature.
Yeah, whole bunch of nature going on. All right, I'm over Dunedin. I don't like it anymore. It's not spelled the way I thought it was either. I was hoping for a D-O-O, but it's not.
No. Number 7, we have the Slam Diego Padres.
Slam Diego Padres.
I like that.
Best trait, lots of good players. Worst trait, not enough spots for all the good players. If that's the worst trait, they're doing pretty good.
That's a good problem to have, it sounds like.
I feel like they should be a little higher on the list if that's their worst problem.
Yeah, there's too many good players. Number 8, the Boston Red Sox.
Hey.
Oh, that's a pleasant surprise.
So their best trait is listed as long ball power,
Mm-hmm.
and the worst trait is outfield questions. Would you agree with those?
That's fair. Yeah.
They have this lineup to add a projected 3.4 wins. So you're looking at 9.4 wins now.
There you go.
Huge. Huge.
All right. And can you, just jumping to the bottom, can you guess who is the worst team?
Is it the Pirates?
It is the Rockies.
Oh, that does make sense, actually.
The Pirates are at number 27. Orioles and Tigers are also there. Shout out to Jacoby Jones. Still rocking it. I will always ride for anybody that went to LSU.
There you
go. Yeah, and so there's nothing like. Is there anyone you're interested to see where they have any teams that are like, what's up with them? Like the Brewers, the Brew Crew.
Where are the Brewers at on here?
The Brew Crew is listed at number 20. Number 20. Best trait is Lorenzo Cain is back, and the worst trait is offense at most of the corners.
Yeah, that's very true, actually.
Can someone explain to me what that means? Offense at most of the corners?
Their whole infield's kind of a disaster right now. Mm-hmm. Well, they did just sign Colton Wong for second baseman. You know, that's the big get. But last year they had just a mess. Like first, second, and third base, like all people that should not be playing those positions. And on top of that, their offense in general, like everyone, including Christian Yelich, were just having like a down year all at the same time.
Got it.
So even if they all bounce back,
mm-hmm.
they still have all these holes to fill in the infield, which is not a great thing to be saying on February 9th.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you. I hadn't heard the phrase the corners before.
Yeah, I really hope they're going to sign Justin Turner for third baseman, but it sounds like the Dodgers are still the favorite there. And I'm going to assume if it came down to it, he's going to go with the Dodgers over the Brewers.
We're trying to take away my Dodgers.
Brewers need more.
All right. So before the season starts, when is the first game? I know spring training is at the end of this month, but when's the first game?
Like official game?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's usually like the first week of April or like last weekend of March they start playing the actual regular season games.
Okay. All right. And so before that happens, what are we still waiting for this offseason?
Well, actually, they just released today. There's this new style almost of spring training games. I don't know if you guys saw it. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh,
I
yeah.
have not seen this yet.
So, yeah, it says, this is from Chris Cotillo. If you've ever thought spring training games are too long, you're in for a treat. Games between February 27th to March 13th can be played as 5 or 7 inning games as long as the managers agree. And games on or after March 14th will be scheduled as 9 innings, but managers can agree to shorten it to 7.
Nice.
That just came out today. I don't know, because we still don't know, like, oh, is there going to be a DH? Like, all this stuff, which, again, kind of wild. It's February 9th, and that's still not been decided.
Right.
But then I start seeing stuff like this. I'm like, it's going to be very interesting to see what rules are implied for this season, especially after last season. They tried so many weird things since it was a shorter year.
Yeah,
they should let that rule about shortening to 5 to 7 innings happen during the regular season too. And you can decide to cut it to 5 innings by the 3rd, and you could decide to cut it to 7 innings by the 5th.
That's so weird to me. Like, we're going to play baseball. Like, yeah, we're going to have spring training games, but some of them can be 5 innings if you really want.
But it has to be a button in the center of the field that one of the managers has to sprint to and hit. They have to press the button. And then they have to make the decision about whether or not it's going to be a 5, 7, or 9 inning game at that moment. And you can go as early as the 3rd inning. And then once you get to the 5th, like once you get past the 3rd, you can't pick 5 innings. Once you get past the 5th, you can't pick 7 innings. And then it's done after that. Between the 3rd and 5th inning, there's just all this suspense of these two old managers that might just sprint to the middle of the field at any given time to try to hit this button and say it's a 5 inning game. Everyone would watch. And there should be enforcers that they have to fight through to get to the button.
That's how they can get people interested in baseball again. Just watching these old guys run to the buttons.
Sprint to it. Like, it'd just be so good. And the enforcers are also old guys because they're not trying to be ridiculous here, right? We're trying to keep everybody safe. But, you gotta fight through them. You got to hit the button. It'd be great. or you just repurpose some of the old WWE talent and let them do it. And then all of a sudden you just blend, like, the Dodgers get Diamond Dallas Page or something, and then the Red Sox get, I don't know, who's a good Boston-based wrestler?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I don't know. Whoever that guy is, and then those who fight it out to try to
Tom
hit
Brady.
The button. That's what I want. That's how I'm improving the game of baseball.
You want to see the Big Show choke slam Tony La Russa as he's trying to shorten the game to 3 minutes?
Well, I think
he might die. Tony La Russa might die.
Get Pedro Martinez out there to flip over another manager. Like, so good. That's what I want. See, everybody's talking about how do you make the game of baseball more interesting? We are giving viable solutions.
Well, have you guys ever seen, after the MLB All-Star game, the celebrity softball game?
I love those every year. It's my favorite part of the baseball season.
It feels like a fever dream every time. It's like the craziest mixture of people. They're all bad except for like 2 people. And it's just like, I don't know if everyone's drunk or something.
I could imagine.
You basically get like a ringer per team, and they're the ones that are actually doing things.
But it's always people like Jenna Fisher.
Yeah,
like that
We're
just
like
randomly hit 4
randomly
home
good.
runs.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it was Jamie Foxx or something. He was like sick at pitching, and then everyone else on his team just stunk at everything. So bad.
It's the only place you'll see Raleigh Fingers strike out Kevin Hart with being caught by Snooki. It's just it's the greatest part of the baseball season.
I honestly like it a lot of times more than the actual All-Star game.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, baseball is being weird with their rules, and I kind of love it. Like, it's so weird that you don't know the rules of the sport a month before the season.
Not even the players know. That's the thing. And like all the they're like, oh, like maybe this guy could fill the DH role if we have it. It's like, so there's like, we should sign him just in case.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. How long are we until we're getting like a fan controlled baseball version? Have you seen this, Sarah, the fan controlled football league that's going around?
No.
So it's basically this football league of 4 teams and a bunch of really bad players and Johnny Manziel.
This is the thing with Johnny Manziel?
Yeah, he's playing in it. He's the quarterback of one of the teams. If that team doesn't win, what's even the point? But all of the fans make all of the decisions. Like they call the plays, they do all that stuff. Like they build the rosters, they make trades. Basically, it's really weird. Everything is controlled by the fans. And I feel like baseball is gonna, in an attempt to get the young viewers, they're gonna try something like that.
I would say, my God, 16-year-old MLB Twitter would ruin that so quickly. They drive it into the ground like immediately.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
All right. Well, I'd be remiss if before you left, we didn't talk about any movies or anything. So what movie are you excited for this year? Is there a movie that you're looking forward to?
Also, have you watched WandaVision and do you love it?
I have not watched WandaVision. My sister has been watching WandaVision, so I've seen like bits and pieces, but I have no idea what's going on any of it. So that's another thing. Kind of feels like fever dream every time I like walk in and like see what's on the screen. Like, what the heck is going on?
I can tell you, watching it is like a fever dream.
Yeah,
I just have
very
no
good.
context. I'll like ask her. She'll be like, I don't even know, honestly.
Oh, watch it. We hope that you'll like it.
Maybe I will. Actually, I do need a new show.
There you go. And you can come back and give us your weekly report as you catch up on WandaVision.
I don't know, like other what movies are even coming out this year?
A lot of Warner Brothers movies, so that's why I have HBO Max.
Ooh, good call.
True.
Oh, I have HBO Max actually.
There you go.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of. I finally watched and finished Queen's Gambit.
So good.
Oh, I loved that one.
Very good. I started The Watchmen on HBO, and that's really, really good.
Oh, I need to watch that one.
It is. It's very good. But yeah. So Sarah, thank you for coming on. We're about to head into our break. Go follow Sarah at SKG_18. It was a blast as always. We'll have you on more often throughout the baseball season because
yes, please do.
We need someone to talk to about baseball. Because me and Ross are dumb.
You know, I'm always
Very
here for that.
We appreciate you, Sarah.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Quick.
Oh yeah.
What's the weather like on the East Coast? We need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, extremely snowy.
Ooh.
Extremely snowy right now.
That's a good thing. I hate when it's cold and not snowing. I think that's worthless.
Well, I kind of felt bad earlier because I ordered DoorDash and I think the driver kind of got stuck leaving my driveway because of all the snow. I was like, shoot, this is
Did you just like not do anything about it?
I called him because I didn't have any shoes on. I couldn't find him. I'm like, I don't want to like run out in front of his car and like freak him out or something. And I like called him. I was like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Well, there you go. Was the food worth it?
It was worth it.
100%. That's the most important part.
Better than our DoorDash driver that came over, dropped off some insomnia cookies, and then kicked over our plant in Mobile.
No, randomly.
What?
So we were in an Airbnb together in Mobile for a week, and it was like 5 people in it. At like 1 a.m., we ordered DoorDash. We ordered insomnia cookies, and the person just like you could hear like the box like drop on the floor. And then we go outside and all of our plants are knocked over and there's just a box of cookies in the middle.
What the heck?
And she was like walk sprinting back to her car. I was really confused as to what happened.
I forgot about that. Oh, how dare these idiots order cookies at 1 o'clock in the morning in Mobile, Alabama and knock over their plants. I'm gonna get them.
That's
oh my goodness, so good. All right, Sarah, thank you very much for joining us, y'all. We're gonna jump to our break here. Sarah, if you want to hang out, we'll be here during the break, but everybody else will be back here in about 3 minutes here on Dylan and Ross Say Sports Full Press Coverage, Full Press Radio Network.
Oh man.
All right, we're on our audio break, but we're still live on video
on Twitter. Oh man. Well, thank you again, Sarah. That was a blast as always.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
We're gonna talk about basketball now, I guess.
Oh yeah, you can count me out on that one.
You'll hear though, Dylan and I, if you listen to this show, Dylan and I will be at odds and at each other's necks because the Pelicans and the Rockets are playing. So we technically hate each other today.
Oh, then I'll probably have to
no.
stay tuned in.
Oh no, where's my Rockets at? I don't have
Wow, what a lost opportunity.
Oh man. Listen. Christian Wood's out, it's okay. Nothing's gonna happen. We're gonna lose. The Rockets are gonna lose. Oh man. Oh yeah, so I have my I feel weird having this baseball. It's a baseball from the 2017 World Series. But now I feel weird about it.
I'd send it back. I don't want this.
It says authentic on it.
Ooh.
And it's listen.
You're like taunting you by saying authentic.
Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, I can't even celebrate this.
You should send it back in a small miniature trash can and send it back to them.
I do have this baseball though that is signed by I was like 11 and it was signed by my baseball team.
Oh, that's cute.
That's probably more valuable than that World Series ball, honestly.
Yeah. That was signed by the Dylan Sanders and his baseball team.
Shout out to this guy, the greatest name of all time. This is the most baseball name of all time, I think. His name was Rivers King. I just feel like that dude should have been signing like a 12-year, $400 million.
No, like was he a professional baseball player?
No, he was 11, like all of us, but he just had a baseball name.
And he didn't go pro. That's just a waste.
Yeah, what is he doing now?
I don't know. He's leading a river.
Because he is a river king.
He's Rivers King. So
he's like the king of rivers.
Yes.
Wow.
He's royalty.
Rivers. He doesn't even need baseball then, actually.
That's right. It's a lot of money. Like when every river in the world is your capital, like you're fine. What do you need? He's going to like Walmart and everything, and they're like, oh, it's going to be $67.99, and then they look up and he has all these rivers just following him around, and they're like, never mind, take it.
He sounds like yours. God.
Right.
The Marvel version of Aquaman. I wonder if he can talk to fish.
Just the rivers. No, he can't talk to anything in the river, but he could talk to the river.
His communication with Mike Trout would probably be really good.
Oh, excellent. All right, we're coming back.
Okay.
All right. So we'll see you soon, Sarah. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
All right, everybody, we are back. Dylan and Ross Say Sports, Full Press covered Full Press Radio Network. Those of you that have been hanging out with us on Restream, you got to hear a little bit of extra time with Sarah, but now it's back to just Dylan and I, so I can't blame you for turning the show off.
I know I will.
Now, we have a lot of basketball to get to in the second half. So Dylan and I, mortal enemies today as the Pelicans and Rockets begin to face off with one another. But what else is going on around the world of the NBA, Dylan, that we should be talking about today?
Derrick Rose is a Knick again.
He is.
How do you feel about that?
I'm juiced about that. Like, I really like Derrick Rose, and the Knicks have been actually surprisingly good for their own standards so far this season. So
yeah, it's 11-14
for their own standard.
Yeah.
So no, I'm excited for D Rose, and I hope he just gets some additional playing time out of it too.
Mm-hmm. Tonight we also have the Knicks and Heat. We have the Nets and Pistons, which boring.
I don't like the sound of Knicks and Heat.
Don't you?
No, because it sounds like Nixon heat.
It's like the body heat of Richard Nixon.
just permeating. So
I'm visualizing that. I just got warmer thinking about it.
Exactly. Oh well.
The ghost of Nixon is behind me. Is Richard Nixon dead? Yeah, he's dead.
You can tell because of the heat that's coming from him. We were talking earlier about the lack of people being named Richard over the last couple of decades. That is a fact. Yes, Richard Nixon passed in 1994 at New York Presbyterian Hospital.
That was before I was
Nixon
born.
update. Nixon update.
Nixon watch. Richie watch.
Oh, ball watch actually. Also appropriate.
Ball watch. LaMelo Ball, same thing. Destroyed the Ross.
Man.
I want you to know the Rockets. The Rockets, a professional basketball team, scored 7 points in the fourth quarter of last night's game.
A professional basketball team
scored 7 points in last night's game, and lost 119-94 to LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets.
Ball watch. Yeah, LaMelo Ball had a pretty nice day. 24 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds on 32 minutes. I know at one point he was 6 of 9 from 3. I do know that.
Nice.
Hard to miss on Twitter when that happened. Shout out Jackson Gatlin. But he had a very efficient night.
Yeah, so he finished 7 of 12. He made 7 field goals that entire game, and they were all 3-pointers.
Wow.
He missed 6 2-pointers. 0 for 6 from 2, but 7 of 12 from 3. Yeah, I love basketball.
You live and die by the 3, baby.
Yeah. Rockets Twitter's in shambles. No one knows what to do. Half of the people want to tank, but tanking is not really worth it because even if you finish with one of the worst 4 records in the NBA, you have a 50-50 chance to not get your own pick because of the protections on it.
Right.
So at that point, what is even the point?
Right.
How are things on Pelicans Twitter, Ross?
Things on Pelicans Twitter are middling at the moment. The Pelicans right now have won each of the last, I think they're on a 3-game winning streak at the moment.
I believe so.
And so with the close victory here recently against the Pacers, that maybe was a little bit closer than it needed to be. That game started to close up a little bit more than was comfortable. And then they had a nice win against the Grizzlies. So they've looked pretty good here recently, but there's still some concern around how the continuity holds up. So they should be up for a pretty good challenge here against the Rockets tonight.
I'm tweeting this out now because I just noticed it. Three of the next 5 Pelicans games are all nationally televised.
Yep.
Pelicans fans should be worried.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they got a win against the Suns, which was a huge win. That might be a signature win for them, their best win of the season. Then they got that win against the Pacers that came down to the last moment. And then they got their most recent win, 118-109 against the Grizzlies. And that was a pretty good performance in that one. Ja Morant, only 16 points, 9 assists, though, and 3 rebounds. So far, I believe the Pelicans are undefeated in matchups between Zion and Ja, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah, and Zion has performed better in all of those. So in terms of the immediate comparison to the two of them coming into the same draft class, so far Zion has been. But there's a great friendship between the two as well. Like the two are very, very close. Of course, they played together at one point early on, and so there's a really good friendship between the two.
Ross, I have an idea of what to do.
All right.
We should go ahead and update our power rankings, our tier list. Excellent. And now for the first time ever, when we're doing one of these, we can show it on the screen.
People can actually see it.
People can actually see it, Ross.
Wow.
Wow, that's great. Wow.
Excellent. All right, dope. Let's do it.
All right, so S tier right now, Lakers and Clippers. Should we add anybody? The big question was the Nets.
Yes.
Should we move either of these down? The big question is it working for the Nets?
It has been okay for the Nets, but I don't think they're S tier. But there is a team that I do think is potentially S tier that I do want to bring up.
Is it the Bucs?
It is not.
Is it the Celtics?
It is not.
Is it the Suns?
It is not.
Is it the 76ers?
It is not.
The Jazz?
Yes, it is the Utah Jazz.
Do you want to jump them from B to Z, B to Z, B to S?
19-5. They have the best record in the NBA right now, outside of the Lakers 19-6. they've been outstanding. They have been unstoppable. They've been awesome. I really like what the Jazz are doing. I kind of like them more than I like the Clippers right now.
You think should we move the Clippers down to A?
I'm gonna leave that choice up to you.
Oh, what?
You rode with me on the idea of moving the Jazz up to S, but have the Clippers not done enough to stay in S?
I'm going to move the Clippers down.
I agree.
And I'm going to move the Nets down
Yeah.
to the bottom of the A tier.
Yeah.
And I'm going to move the Suns up and move the Celtics down as well.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to move the Celtics to the B tier.
Yeah, I'm not a super huge fan of what I've seen from the Celtics so far this season. 12-10 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have games coming up next against Utah, the Raptors. Then they've got Detroit and the Wizards, so that's not going to be that bad, but they could potentially fall a little bit. They could fall to 500 over these next two games. Do you think that the Bucs are better than the 76ers, or would you take the 76ers over the Bucs right now?
I think the Bucs are kind of rolling.
I think so too. I think the record for the 76ers is probably better. I think they're 17-7 right now.
Yes, but the Bucs are on a 5-game win streak.
Right. So like the total record looks better for the 76ers, but in terms of what's been happening recently, I think the Bucs have looked better here as of late.
Yeah. And no shade to the 76ers. They've looked really good this year. They've looked better than I thought they were going to this year.
Definitely.
Number 1 team in the East.
Mm-hmm.
We can move them up. We can move them both up.
I like moving them ahead of the Suns. I think the Suns are good, and they're upward trending, and they have a pretty favorable. I mean, well, they have an interesting schedule coming up because they'll have Cleveland, and they have the Bucks, and then the 76ers, and then they have the Magic. So this could be a big prove it series over at least 3 of these next 4 games.
Yeah. What about the Suns versus the Nets? Who would you have above?
I roll with the Suns.
Roll with the Suns. All right. Is there anybody else that needs to be moved to the S or the A tier?
I don't think so. I think that's kind of the cutoff right there.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Nets.
All right. So
the Nets are like barely there right now.
All right. Well, then let's look at the B and C tiers. So the B tier for now. Is there anybody that needs to move up or down?
The Nuggies. The Nuggies could maybe move up a little bit.
I mean, they are the 8 seed right now.
Mm-hmm.
So having them in the middle of the B tier makes sense to me.
Are they not performing better than Atlanta?
They are 6-4 of the last 10. Atlanta is 5-5. So
yeah, I don't know. I feel like with Jokic and
Jokic is good.
Yeah,
the talent wise, they should be in the A tier.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what we talked about before, right? Like there are some of these teams that like you got Jokic, you've got Murray, you've got well then they did just lose. So Murray didn't play against Sacramento, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just lost Harris. Yeah, I think that's something to consider too, is the injuries right now. But Jokic is looking wild good.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is the power rankings, right? This is the tier list right now. So now, if they don't have their players, like the Rockets aren't going to move up because they don't have Christian Wood right now. So they're not going to be good. It's hard to move them up. The Kings, however, I jumped up to the B tier and the higher B tier because they've been killing it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I've been a big fan of them.
I like having the Celtics, Pacers, and Mavs at the top of the B tier.
Mm-hmm.
Although the Mavs have been struggling here recently, have they not? Like,
they are. I was planning on moving the Mavericks down.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because
I'm moving them down to the C tier. They are 3 of 7 in their last 10.
Ugh.
And things are not looking super, super bright over there. And of course, record's not everything, but
right. But I mean, like even still, like if you look at the trend over the last few games, like they have visibly struggled.
Yes,
like they have had a lot of issues.
Sorry, Ross, but I'm gonna move the Bulls down.
That's fine. That's fine. We tried. We tried to show them some love. It ain't happening.
The Grizzlies, I'm gonna move
I
up
want to
in
move
the
the
C
Grizzlies
tier.
up. Yeah.
You want to move into the B tier yet?
I like the idea of moving them up to the top of the C tier. They're 500 right now. There's still some opportunity for them to prove themselves here a bit. Their next couple of games, they'll have a pretty nice schedule here coming up. So we'll see if they, including having to play the Lakers and things like that. So I think that like it's a good prove it spot for them to be at the top of the C tier.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move the Knicks into the B tier.
Great.
Let's see. The Heat are staying in the C tier. Magic are going down in the C tier. The Raptors are they're the Raptors a B tier team yet? They're a playoff team.
I think so. I think they deserve to be up there.
They're starting to put things together,
Mm-hmm.
which is all you can really ask for. OKC, I'm going to move down.
Yeah, they should go down for sure.
Hornets upper.
Mm-hmm.
Man, C tier's rough.
Yeah.
Where do you have the Pelicans?
I would probably put them. I like where they are right there. I think they just have a lot of things to show in terms of consistency. I mean, you might be able to argue them ahead of the Rockets, but I don't. I mean, I guess we'll learn a little bit more tonight.
The Rockets are because whenever they're healthy, they're a B tier team.
Right.
But they're never healthy. But John Wall is playing tonight, and whenever John Wall is in the lineup, no matter who else is in the lineup, they are the best defensive team in the NBA, which does account for something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about getting that offense ready. I mean, I'm down on Dallas. I'm going to move Dallas down in the seat. Like they are struggling bad. And in the West, you don't have that much room.
Sorry, I'm gonna jump in just real quick. Something that was just announced was the passing of Therese Paylor from Yahoo Sports, which like just is coming out of nowhere. And everything. That's insane. Wow. Yeah, it was just announced. The statement was from Ebony Reed, his fiance, that Therese sudden passing and everything. He did he did sports journalism and everything for the NFL, Kansas City Chiefs in particular. He was somebody that was like frequently on with our Locked On Chiefs guys and everything like that. So what a wild, just kind of crazy thing that just happened out of nowhere. Like talk about sudden. So sorry I don't mean to like bum the mood or anything like that, but I don't want to go without mentioning it because he was such an influential and a really fantastic voice in sports media and everything. And that news just broke. So I want to make sure that we pay some respects to a guy who is phenomenal in the business. Wow. That's out of nowhere.
Dang.
Well, yike. Go and support the work, man. Go and support the work. You never know. That's wild. Sorry, I don't mean to distract away from we can go back to the tier list and everything. It was just I wanted to make sure that I said something about it as that news is rolling out.
Man, that is very, very sad.
Yeah, and out of nowhere, like he was literally just on Locked On Chiefs like 2 days ago, or not even 2 days ago, but like last week, and everything. That's insane. And then of course this comes just a couple days ago, a couple days after the everything happened with the Chiefs playing in the Super Bowl and everything like that. And so he just did a lot of really excellent work.
It's been a rough week for sports journalism.
Yeah.
Pedro Gomez,
right?
Another one recently. Right. It's just been, man.
And then earlier today as well with Marty Schottenheimer passing away too. Like it's been a lot of news around all of that. Kind of a wild week. So,
yeah.
Man, Rest in peace to these like absolute legends, unfortunately, that we're losing right now. But the work that they did was so incredible, and Therese for sure is absolutely one of those guys, is absolute leader in the field, and everything. So, wow, what a time! Yikes. Well, that has happened. Go and check out Yahoo Sports and support and everything. We wish the best to Ebony and to Therese's family and everything, and everybody that knew him, everything that he's done. It's insane. All right. Sorry. I don't want to dampen the mood. But I want to make sure that we recognize him.
Of course.
Let's continue. We'll roll along with the with these. Where did we leave off?
I don't remember.
That's okay. So we've moved something I just saw that we moved the Raptors up, right?
Yes, to the B tier. We moved the Raptors up. See, I'm kind of liking where it's at right now. Actually, no, I mean, like,
hold on.
I can't.
Hey, yeah, I was gonna say I don't think you can let that happen.
I can't. Nope.
For those of you listening, Dylan realized that the Mavericks were one spot ahead of the Rockets, and so he just swapped those places within the C tier.
Yeah. But other than that, I think I like where this is at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we review from D up to S?
Yes, I'll let you go ahead and do that, Ross.
Cool. So we have for D tier the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Minnesota Timberwolves, Washington Wizards, and Detroit Pistons. In the C tier, Memphis Grizzlies, Chicago Bulls, Miami Heat, Charlotte Hornets, New Orleans Pelicans, Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Orlando Magic. And then in the B tier, Boston Celtics, Indiana Pacers, the Sacramento Kings, Denver Nuggets, Atlanta Hawks, Portland Trailblazers, San Antonio Spurs, Golden State Warriors, New York Knicks, and Toronto Raptors. And then moving up to the A tier, the Los Angeles Clippers, who come down from the S tier, and they're joined by the Milwaukee Bucks, Philadelphia 76ers, Phoenix Suns, and the Brooklyn Nets. And then finally up at the S tier, we have two teams represented, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Utah Jazz.
Yep. One thing we haven't talked about yet, Ross, that we can now talk about to close out the show. What do you think? What did you think of the Hall of Fame class of this year?
Oh, I didn't mind the Hall of Fame class this year. The NFL Hall of Fame class. I'm just going to pull it up real quick so I can make sure that we name everybody. But the NFL Hall of Fame class didn't have everybody that I thought was going to have in it. We kind of predicted the guys that were going to get in and everything. But the four players that were named: Jared Allen, Calvin Johnson, Peyton Manning, and Charles Woodson Alan Faneca. Yes, yeah, and of the 25 the modern era guys, and then expanding beyond that, we had Alan Faneca being recognized.
Go Dodgers.
Yes, we had Bill Nunn finally being recognized. Tom Flores going in as the coach, and then Doug Pearson, the original number 88 of the Dallas Cowboys, going in as well. So that was really cool to see all of those guys represented, and particularly Drew Pearson being selected, which was really awesome. So I was a fan of all of that. I was a fan of all of them. I think Sam Mills will eventually get in. It's just, unfortunately, it's going to take a little while. Clay Matthews Jr. will probably get in eventually. And then looking at other guys like Tony Baselli, Leroy Butler, Rodney Harrison, these other guys, like there are really some out there that will end up moving into that for sure. John Lynch also was recognized, was he not? I thought John Lynch also got something too. So yeah, some great stuff in terms of the Hall of Fame class with this one. And so yeah, I liked the class. I'm glad Charles Woodson got in. I'm glad that Calvin Johnson got in despite the short career and the early retirement. I think he absolutely deserved it. Peyton Manning was a no questions asked guy, and of all the other guys out there, I thought that Alan Faneca deserved it just as much as anybody.
Yeah, I was a big fan of it. I like it.
Yeah.
Are you? Did you see Joe Brady, Teddy Bridgewater comments.
Ooh, no, I did not see that.
He just basically said, I believe he said that he's a big fan of him and would love to have him as the quarterback next year for the team. As we get into mock draft season and think about the draft, a lot of people are saying that they're going to move up for a quarterback. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna focus a little bit more on what Matt Rule has done and what the front office has done, right? Matt Rule really specific about him looking at the quarterbacks in the Senior Bowl, the front office offering that that number 8 overall selection to try to land Matthew Stafford. I think I'm going to lean a little bit more into those as signs for what might happen for Carolina at that position than I will the talk by the offensive coordinator, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's just, yeah. Are you surprised that Joe Brady didn't get a coaching job this year?
No, I'm really not. I think that he was somebody that moved up really quickly to where he is, but it was right for the NFL to sort of hit pause on that to see what he does with longevity. Because when you're hiring a head coach, not only are you hiring somebody that is like a wonderful talent and is a great mind and all those other things, which he is, both of those things, but you're hiring somebody that you think is going to be there for a while. And you have no presence and no real example of what Joe Brady looks like over time yet, because he has moved around so much and so quickly that it doesn't surprise me to say, okay, we need to see you at least a couple of years in the same place to make an evaluation based upon that and how these other teams find you out, how you deal with that, how you adjust, all those other things. You don't know that from a guy who gets 1 year of offensive coordinator experience.
Yeah. Man. What are you excited for this offseason, Ross? What are you waiting for? I mean, the next big thing is Carson Wentz, right?
Yeah, the next big thing has to be Carson Wentz and that domino falling, or the official statement that he's not being traded, right? Like whatever that's going to be. Right now, the odds-on favorite are the Chicago Bears, and when I say odds-on favorite, I mean their odds are 1-1 right now. That if Carson Wentz is traded, that he'll be going to Chicago. And there are also a lot of rumors that part of the return of that coming from Chicago is Nick Foles, which is really, really interesting because does Nick Foles go back to the Eagles to be a backup, or does he challenge for a starting role with Jalen Hurts? Now, for the Eagles, the smart decision is to roll with Jalen Hurts to give your young guy a shot, but it does create a little bit of controversy there when you have that other veteran guy there along with the young quarterback. Look at Miami, for instance. But Nick Sirianni did go there with the expectation that he would be charged with fixing Carson Wentz. So I think that this is a little bit of or reportedly he went there with that. If that's the case, this has to take him aback a little bit. Mm-hmm. This idea that Wentz might be traded.
Yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot. I'm ready for it to happen.
Yeah,
I'm ready to talk about Mitch Trubisky 2.0 in Chicago.
Whatever that ends up being, for sure. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun throughout this offseason. There's a lot of things, right? Because that's just the first domino to fall. And then the quarterback carousel still continues.
And then Patrick Peterson
saying that he wants he and the Cardinals apparently are looking at mutually going their separate ways. Where could he end up?
Kansas City.
Kansas City would be a really good spot for him.
Reuniting with Tyrann.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a guarantee. Like that's as guaranteed a Super Bowl appearance as you might find around the NFL. You know what I mean? Like if you're a player that's looking to go to a contender.
He's wanted to be a Saint for a long time, Ross.
Has he? Is that a thing?
I think so.
Oh, well, there you go. You could move on from Janoris Jenkins and actually dictate a contract that they're getting on a quarterback as opposed to navigating a contract that was gifted to them through waivers.
And he is actually younger.
Yeah.
Jenkins.
Yeah, I think he's only 30, right?
He's 30.
Peterson? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is
He
wild.
feels like 40.
It feels like he's been in the NFL forever. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You love those guys. I feel the same way about Pharaoh Cooper. Pharaoh Cooper's only been in the NFL since like 2016, 2017, something like that.
Mhm.
But he feels like he's been in the NFL since I was a kid. Like, I don't know what it is about him, but I just assume he's been there for a long time. Probably because he played with the St. Louis Rams. It was still the St. Louis Rams when he came in and everything. So, I don't know. All very wild. But, all right, y'all, that's going to do it for today's episode. Dylan Ross, Say Sports. Anything else you got for the peoples, Dylan?
Yeah, go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Make sure your cat filters are off before you join your Zoom calls. We appreciate you very much for being here with us. Wash your wrists when you wash your hands. Wear your mask. Wash your ankles. Don't neglect your ankles in the shower. We appreciate you very much. That's all my advice for you today. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Make your bed. Yep. We're back with you tomorrow at 5 p.m. here on Full Press Radio, Full Press Coverage. Appreciate you being here with us. We'll holler at you then.